Okay. All right. Live here on YouTube. Hello. Scotty Bramer here. I think we're working. All right. Great. Finally, it's been quite a journey to get here. More ways than one. But all right. Well, welcome to Scotty Bramer Music, Bodhisattva Music. That's what I call my project. And let me start Instagram here as well. I'm gonna do that. Okay, looks like we're live here on Instagram as well. Yeah, okay. All right. Hey everyone, Scotty Raymer here, Bodhisattva Music. Just wanted to come on here and do a little live, talk about some of the work that I'm doing and offering for people. And yeah, it's part of my project, Bodhisattva, which is original music and awakening of our consciousness and building our new world. So, and also the healing power of music. And one of the things that I work on with my students and with people are dissolving our limitations, finding any blocks and things in our psyches or in our bodies, nervous systems, working on our energy, essentially. And so I've created sort of this process, this conscious process of how to learn music, because I think that the way I was brought up and learned was very kind of one-sided and was just about the masculine side, the stuff, the notes, the chord, the changes, and had that kind of approach to it. But was ignoring another side of it, which is the intuitive side, the flow, the feminine side, the feeling and the resistance that we might have from unconscious trauma or the beliefs of our family systems and all kinds of things that might stop us from sharing our gifts and our desires. So yeah, so I do this work for myself. I've discovered all kinds of different things and processes, and I work with people one-on-one. So if you are interested, please reach out. You can also find it on my website, www.scottybramermusic.com. And yeah, I just want to share a little bit about what I uncovered today for myself. Several things, because when I sit down to play, and I try to start the day with that as much as possible, with my own practice. And sometimes I just flow with inspiration, finding the thing that I can really focus in on and that'll light me up and just spark the flame of inspiration. So for today, it happened to be Easy Living, this jazz standard, and it was the recording of Bill Evans playing that. And he plays these beautiful chords to start. It's like and then he goes off from there. But that's kind of like where I started. And during that process, I discovered or uncovered several of my pieces of conditioning that were coming up. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about them and kind of share and see what we can do. So one of the things actually that I discovered was I had a teacher, a really great teacher. I'm not going to say who it is, but one of my very favorite guitarists. I had a class with him once, and he said something which must have stuck with me. And it was, don't play the ninth on a dominant chord. So like if we were playing Autumn Leaves, and I think that's the example that we were using at the time. And this was a long time ago. This was 2005. So what the point that I want to make here is that our subconscious can sometimes misinterpret things or hold on to things that are not serving us. We can create belief systems and little things that stop us from our flow. We think, oh, that's the wrong thing. I'm going to play a wrong note. I got to avoid that. Well, no, actually, in reality, all the notes are right. Right? So it's just a matter of how we use them and also the conviction with which we use them in our improvisations. So, yeah, he said that. And so, okay, don't use the ninth. He was like, use the flat nine to lead to the fifth there, or use the sharp nine on the F7 chord. So I must have taken that and not wanted to use that ninth. But the ninth is a great note in context. You can use it also to. And in fact, that was another piece that I uncovered. I was doing a transcription of Brad Meldau yesterday, and I think that's why it came up, to be honest. So this must have been yesterday. So I guess we're combining 2 days here, but he does that in comping for the great Peter Bernstein song "Just a Thought," something like that, where he actually just goes straight from the ninth of the dominant chord to the fifth of the root, whatever key that they're playing in. So I was like, oh, actually, you can do that. How about that? What a novel idea. You can do that. So there's no real rules, I think. There's certain things that if you use them unconsciously, then it might sound a little weird or something. I don't even want to say that because I don't want to limit anyone. I'd say what feels good, sounds good is and whatever wants to come out could be up to the listener anyway. So that was the first piece that came up. And so now that I'm aware of that, if I wasn't aware of that before, I might just continue on with that block. And okay, now I'm limited. I only have this to play, but now I have all kinds of different options. Now I can start to free myself from that and rewire the way that I improvise and play. I'm actually free to play everything because in the moment, I want to just flow with it. I don't want to have to think. That's the whole idea, is to get beyond our thinking minds and to be able to just play. So the other piece that came up was, I remember another teacher, and this was in college, much later, I guess probably 3 or 4 years later, and they said, don't play octaves of any kind in your soul or in your chords. So like if you're playing a D flat 6/9, don't play 2 B flats. Like if you don't play 2/6 or 2/3 or something. So don't play that, right? So whenever you say don't, it's also not the best command for the subconscious. It's preferred to say what you do want. But anyway, but if you listen to some people like Monk or Bill Evans, they do that kind of stuff. They play the ninth twice, they play the sixth twice. It happens. So I was like, oh my gosh, like it's a color. We can just do that. We can play octaves. Why not? So that's another piece that I'm going to start to work with and be able to add to my color palette of what is possible. Now here's so those are two pieces now that I've uncovered in my unconscious, and I can start to work through them. The last one here, and this is actually kind of a funny one, and this is one that I've been working on for kind of a while, but it came up today. And it's a fear that I have around dominant chords. Dominant chords are scary, I think. Dominant chords are very scary. And that's funny coming, from jazz guitarists, because jazz is all dominant chords. So many dominant chords. It's really important. But especially those ones that are kind of non-functional, or that aren't in the cycle. But even the ones that are, like something like stablemates. That's hard. How do you, really become free with that without just following the steps? And obviously, I'm hearing people do it all the time, and I play that tune all the time as well. But I feel like I could improve or expand my consciousness around that. So that came up for me today when I was transcribing this, because I realized this melody here from Bill Evans from doing a transcription. What is it? So that first part there, it's these dominant chords that are moving downwards, and you have this melody line. So that's the last dominant chord, and these other chords are B flat, A7, B flat 7, G7. It's really, really beautiful, and the way he plays it, of course, that's really kind of the magic that brings into it. That's sort of the more feminine side, not just the notes that are being played, but it's coming from the being that is expressing it. So that's kind of the other side of it. But that inspired me to realize, oh gosh, I can actually kind of create this simple melody list this way. How else might I be able to use this? So that's opening me up to more inspiration and possibility. So now that's the other thing is, in this process, to me, it's a big part of it is finding the inspiration, finding the joy, finding that feeling, and cultivating that and using that, because that, I believe, to me, is the energetic component that we are really searching for all along. It's not just the stuff, sound, empty sound. No, it's about feeling and expression. And what I discovered through my own awakening journey, and I do discuss this in other capacities. I won't go into it deeply now, but after my Kundalini awakening, I started to become very conscious of the energies and feelings and emotions and things around my body, and I started to, it's a whole other story, but the important thing that I discovered was the power of one single note. And this is where Effortless Mastery, the book by Kenny Werner, kind of comes in as well. because I discovered that when I tuned my body, just like I would tune a guitar, I could play a note, a single note, breathe, let the note become effortless. And it would take a certain practice, it would take a certain level of openness, but I could make that note sound like total bliss in my body. I could just play a single note, and it was worth more than like all of the fancy stuff, like whatever, any licks or anything that I could play. So like in my old way of playing, I would just play stuff, not really paying attention to the feeling of it or anything like that. And I was never truly fulfilled by it. I feel like I felt limited and not truly fulfilled. But then I realized, oh, there's actually there's something to this, because I could play from one note, have that feeling of presence, you might call the divine, flowing through, and then I could play a second note, and I didn't have to try so hard. I could just go from one note to the next, to the next, to the next. And from there, I was able to start to learn vocabulary or ideas or transcriptions in a way that made it so when I played them, I could embody those ideas effortlessly, much more effortlessly, and much faster. So that's the other part of this process. It's an energetic component of how to work with music and how to learn on a much faster, easier, and more fulfilling level. So that's my share for today. And on we all get to learn together. So if you are interested in this process, I have a online mini course called the Improviser's Way. It's a very short, not too short, it's like 3 videos, but it outlines the process and kind of gives you the nuts and bolts for the understanding of what we do, and the some practices to work on it. Kind of the basic main practice, I would say. So it's only $30. It's going to go up soon because it's worth a lot, even though it's relatively short, probably like 30 minutes total. But what you can gain from it is way, way more than $30 or $50. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's on my website, www.scottybramer.music.com. Purchase it now or reach out for I do one-on-one sessions. I also do group sessions and online classes, and also in-person classes for schools or master classes, those kinds of things as well. So if you are interested, feel free to reach out anytime. And once again, Scotty Bramer, Bodhisattva Music. Much love. See you all soon. Well, thanks, Swami. Appreciate that. I'm just signing off now. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Signing off here. Thank you for tuning in.